Hi, welcome to another craft video from the Kansas City, Kansas Public Library. I'm Cheryl and I'm in charge of the craft kits at the main library. And today's video is to accompany a kit that we'll be giving out starting May 15th, 2025. But if you don't live near our library or you're watching this later on a YouTube channel, don't worry, I'll tell you everything that's in the kit so you'll know what you need to purchase if you want to make this with your own supplies. So what we're making today is this cute little scene here of these little cactuses or cacti, and these are actually made out of cardstock. We printed the cactus images on cardstock, cut them out, and glued them together back to back. Okay, so now let me show you what's in the kit. So what's in the kit, or what you'll need to purchase if you don't have the kit, is first of all a container. And this happens to be just a little plastic container that we bought at the craft store. And it needs to be a couple inches deep, but it needs to be wider so that you can fit more of the cacti in there. And this one, if you want to know, happens to be, let me get my yardstick. This one happens to be about 2 inches deep and about 4 inches across in the opening. Then you will need or have some sand. These little packets of sand we bought at the craft store, and there's about a half a cup of sand in one of these packets. Now in our kit, it comes in a bunch of different colors. So in our kit, you'll have a random color. You'll also have some little pebbles, and this is going to be sprinkled just around the cacti on top of the sand. And you will have four pages of cactus images. Now, ours are labeled A or B because if you look at, let's see, these two, the images are reversed. You need two that are one direction and two that are the other direction. We will need mirror images of each other so we can put them back to back to make the cacti. And I will show you in a minute, if you're working with your own supplies, I will show you in a minute how to reverse an image in Windows in order to do this yourself. And down at the bottom are little spines if you want to make your cacti prickly. Now, because this is going to be back to back, it doesn't matter if the images of the cactus are on the other side, but you will need to make this green on the other side. This is green so that when we cut out the spines, because you're going to be seeing both sides of the spines. If you are doing this with your own supplies at home, I would suggest cutting out little shards out of green construction paper and just cutting out little skinny, very thin triangles that you can then glue in between the layers to make the spines. Now, let me go ahead and show you how to get the images reversed using Windows. We are going to be working with an Adobe stock image because my library has a subscription with Adobe, so we licensed the cacti images from Adobe. And if you double click, I double click on mine and it will open it up with Windows Photos. If you don't if yours opens it up in some other software, you can figure out how to reverse it in that software, but I'll show you how to do it in Photos, Windows Photos. If you want to make sure, if you can right click on it and you can go down here with Open with Photos, and it will open it up in this program. Now we are going to go up here to the word Edit, and you'll see there's the regular image. And if you go to Edit, down here at the bottom there is this left and right arrows. That's to flip the picture left to right. And now all of your cacti images are now reversed. So you will need to save a copy and give it a different name. So you will call it like B or something, or just add B to the end of it or something like that. And now when I look at it, I have A and B that are reverse images of each other. So you can see here. And you will need to print out 2 of each kind, the A and the B side. Okay, and when you go to print out your images, I have printed out mine. The smallest one's about 2 inches tall. Largest one's about 4.5 inches tall. And I have, in a photo software, I have put a little box underneath of it with the letter so that I can distinguish between A and B. You don't have to do anything fancy with the photo editing and things like that. You can just, when you print it out, make sure you print it out the right size, and then just draw a little box. These boxes are about 1 inch tall. Draw a little box underneath and label it. Because when you cut them out, you're going to need to be able to figure out which one's one direction, which one's the other direction. And the little tabs are what we stick down in the sand to make them stand upright. So now you are ready to start cutting out your cactus images. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide which cactuses you want to use. Just to let you know, these 4 are easier. So to get the process down, I would start with one of the simple ones. And then once you've got the hang of it, then if you want to use one of the tall ones, then you can cut those out. But I recommend starting with one of these. So you'll have your 2B sheets and your 2A sheets. And you will need to cut out all 4 of the same cactus. So I think I'm going to start with this one. And so I'm going to cut it out. And you want to make sure and cut the tab with it. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the other 3. The reason we make sure to keep the box that says the letter is that is the tab that's going to be stuck down into the sand and the pebbles to keep it upright in your little diorama, your little scene. That's what gets stuck down into the sand to keep it upright. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and cut the rest of these out of that design, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have all 4 cut out, 2 A's and 2 B's. And you will notice the difference between them is that they are reversed. This is because we're going to be going back to back, A to B, B to A. And we need the edges to line up properly. Now, you have a decision to make at this point. Do you want your cactus to be smooth on the edges, or do you want to have the spikes? If you decide you want the spikes, then you will need to cut the spikes out down here. And you will need 3 or 4 for each seam, and there's going to be 4 seams. So if you decide you want 3, you'll need 12 of the spikes. If you decide you want 4 on each edge, you'll need to cut out 16. So I think I'm going to do 4 on each because this is fairly tall. So I think I am going to go ahead and cut out 16. And when I get that done, I'll be back to show you. And now we've got all of our pieces for our cactus, for one of our cactus. Now I'm going to take, you're going to take your glue stick and have that ready. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold these in half lengthwise. And you want to try and get them as close to center as you can. So what I like to do is I like to fold the tab in half and then just continue on kind of straight up the middle. I know, and they won't be exactly even on both sides because the left and right sides are different. But we want to get them as close to the center as we can, and you're going to fold them with the colored part inward. So I've got them creased. Now I'm going to open them back out, and on the back I am going to glue these down one side, and I'm going to glue them all on the same side. So what I'll just do is I'll put a little bit of glue there, and I want this coming out the edge. And so this was what it looks like on the front. And you can reposition them for a few seconds. I think alrighty. You don't want to go all the way down to the bottom because that's where the pebbles are going to be. So you want to start at least like a 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And so I'm going to do that same thing on each one of these, making sure to do it always on the same side. So, got all my spines put on. Now I have to check the front here, because I need to make sure they're in the right order, because I want it to be A, B, A, B. You need them alternating. So this is how I'm going to glue them on. I'm going to glue this A to B, and then this B to A, and then A to B, and then we're going to finish up. So on the back of A, on the side where there's no spines, no pricklies, I'm going to run glue all the way down, even to the tab. And then I'm going to glue that side to that side, trying to line up the edges. Now this is why we reverse the image between A and B, so that the right side of A would line up with the left side of B. Now I'm going to run glue down this side, and I'm going to glue this one on. Okay, and now I should have one more side here that's not glued, and I will run glue down that and down the other side. On this last one, I'm going to have to put glue on both sides. And I'm going to put that one right in there and make sure all the sides line up as best I can. Okay, so I've got my little three-dimensional cactus, and it actually, if you have a flat surface, this will actually stand up on its own. But so we're just going to set this aside, and I'm going to make I'm going to go ahead and cut out and make 2 or 3 of these, and we'll be back to put it all together at the end. Alrighty, so I have all of my cacti put together. When you go to do these, they are not as easy because the middle is very long and skinny. So you'll need to try and just get it centered as much as possible and down a straight line when you fold them in half. Okay, so we're going to get our container, and you will have a little bag of sand like this. You just cut it open and pour the sand in. I've already pre-opened it so I wouldn't have to deal with it on camera. Okay, and you'll want to get it kind of level. Now you're going to figure out how you want your cactuses done. So I'll just kind of, I think I'm going to put in the tall ones. Let's put the tall ones in the back. Just kind of give it a little wiggle down. Now you don't want them all the way right crowded up against the edge, because you don't want the little tabs to show through. And then I think I'm going to do, I've got 2 that I put spines on, so I think I'm going to do those on the sides. So I think I'll do the big one in the front. There we go. And I'll put these in on the sides here. I think I like the way that is. Now I'm going to take my little pebbles and I'm going to just gently place them around. You don't want to drop them down from too big of a height or throw them all in, because this is a very fine-grained sand and it will poof up. So we're going to, I like to drop the big ones if I have room in the middle. I'll drop the big ones in there gently, and then kind of place these around. So not only will the pebbles help keep the sand in place and kind of give it more of a an actual authentic look, but they will also help as braces to keep your taller cactuses upright. And if you find them tend to falling over a little bit, just kind of put a big rock wherever you need to brace them. And you don't have to use all the rocks that we give you if you don't want to, but you are certainly welcome to. There we are. Now let me move the camera down so you can see it from the side. And now it's finished, and this would look really cute just sitting on a shelf or sitting on your desk at work. Just be very careful if you have small children or cats or pets. Make sure you place these, because this is an open container of sand. Make sure you place these on a high enough shelf so that you don't have to worry about them getting knocked over. And that's all there is to it. So thank you for viewing another craft video from the Kansas City, Kansas Public Library. We'll see you next time. Bye.